Good morning, everyone. This is Jacob Palmer from Palmer Electrical. It's a beautiful Friday morning here, driving to our first call of the day. We've got a new lighting installation, but I thought I'd film this one, show you a little bit about my process, show you about how I lay them out, measure, wire them up, and do all that sorts of stuff. If you're interested in this kind of thing, stick around. Maybe you'll learn something, and if you see something I'm doing wrong, maybe leave a comment and I'll learn something. But either way, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and make sure you comment and subscribe and all the YouTube stuff. We're pulling up to the customer's house now. Is this thing on? All right, we've arrived. Need the drill with a battery, the hole saw kit. We need the vacuum and the laser. We got plastic, we got tape, we need the ladder. What else do we need? Surely more. Tape measure, need that. All right, we need some wire, 14 gauge wire, appropriate for the 15 amp circuit it's going to be installed on. Some of these black pop-in Romex connectors. And finally, the star of the show. We got a box of these Rab brand 6-inch wafer lights. There's the model number. I love these. I've installed hundreds of these, probably 1,000 of these. They're noticeably higher quality than what you find at Lowe's Home Depot. I get these at City Electric Supply, but you can find them on Amazon and other places on the internet. That's my recommendation. All right, let's get all those upstairs. All right, here's the space. We're putting in 6 recessed lights, 3 on each side, spaced evenly. The lights on this side will be spaced centered up with the window, and we're going to mirror that symmetrically on this side. I was here last weekend relocating this TV here. It was located over there. We took it over here and added a TV receptacle behind it. But what we've got here is we have a spare switch leg for the fan. So they pulled a 14.3 Romex for the fan, and they have installed here a fan with a remote that only takes one of those switch legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that extra switch leg that we already have a switch for, and we're going to jump off of it to control these lights. And finally, to top it off, we're going to install one of these Caseta dimmers from Lutron, along with a Pico remote. First things first, to get the plastic down, get all this furniture covered up, we can get started. All right, we've got coverings for the couch, TV, and media station there. This piece on the floor here will move with me as I drill up through the ceiling to catch the dust. I use a dust catcher bowl. You'll see that soon. Finally, I'm going to set up a plastic area. That's where all of my tools and materials and pack out cases and everything of mine will sit. I think it's important to set up a little station, a little island clean zone, instead of placing all your tools on the customer's nice clean carpets. I'm going to set it up right here in the middle of the room so that it's out of the way of where I need to be working. And we also need one for under the attic stairs. We'll be going in and out of the attic space. I happen to know that this house has blown-in insulation, and we'll be crawling all through it, and it's probably going to be falling here, so we'll use this to catch all of that so we have less to clean up at the end. All right, looks like we've got all the supplies we need. I'm going to start by unwiring the canopy for the fan so it's ready when we need to get up there and tie in power from the switch. And then we're going to lay out with tape, measure, mark, and get ready to make some holes. There we are. Here is our switch leg. Yep, there it is, capped off. There's the spare switch leg that we're going to use for power. All right, now let's measure. Take our ladder, 28.25. Like that. I'm going to take my Sharpie, put a dot. There you go, that's the middle of the window. So now we're going to put that same mark on the other wall there, and then shine a laser between them, and then it's going to be perfectly parallel with this wall. And we're going to do the same on the other side. This corner will just be a little challenging to work in with the couch here, but it's absolutely doable. All right, so now we've got 28¼ marked off of both of these parallel long side walls here. Now we're going to set up the laser on both sides, mark each light location. We're going to do 28¼ we're going to match the square in all the corners, and then we're going to do the middle two lined up in the center. Here's my laser setup. I've got a Bosch GLL3-300. All right, so this is how I achieve perfect layouts. So first I measure off the walls there, which you saw me do. Then I set up the laser between those two marks, here and here. And then with the laser on, I get up with my tape measure and make my measurements. So the first one on each end is just going to be a perfect square inside the corner here. 28¼ inches from here to here, 28¼ inches from here to here. Then I measure to approximately the middle, but I set up the laser here, and I marked along the laser line with Sharpie, and then measured on the ground on this side and this side, and marked the middle of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my laser and set it up between here, which is perfectly perpendicular to the room and perfectly centered along the width. And then we're going to cast the laser up and work it on the two middle pieces of tape, which are currently just approximations. All right, so we have the laser set up between the two center marks now. You can see it goes up. We're going to get on the ladder, mark where that intersects. And then over here, you see I missed the tape just a little bit, but that's all right because we marked where the parallel line is, so it'll be easy to just put another tape there and we can see where it needs to be. Put it right there. Here. You can see right there. That's where the line intersects. And then we can see, look at this, the center of it. It's about there. Perfect. I'm going to use this guy right here. I'll take this. Put to 6 inches. Spoke with the homeowner. She likes the location. Time to get started cutting some holes. I love this Klein Tools drywall hole cutter here. It's adjustable, so you can use multiple sizes. Mine typically stays at 6 inches. That's what I install most commonly. But this, combined with a sheet of plastic below, captures all of the dust that is of concern. Of course, you have to still vacuum things like this windowsill, dust off these blinds. Usually some dust accumulates on the top of the receptacles that I like to vacuum up. So it's not perfect, but this captures 99% of the dust, which if you work in this field, you know how much dust this kind of work can create. So this is a huge lifesaver. To keep more insulation from falling out of this hole, I like to take the wafer just by itself before I wire anything and put it up in that hole just to plug it so that more doesn't fall out after I move this plastic. That does mean I'll have to wire up the junction boxes while I'm in the attic, but that's a small price to pay for cleanliness, not having to deal with this stuff. Goes everywhere. Now we just gotta do that 6 more times, then it's time for wire. All right, and there is all 6 lights in the ceiling. I guess most often I will leave these out until the end, but considering the environment that I'm in, we've got really nice clean carpet here. With the blown in insulation like this, it's really hard to clean up, so I did that so that I didn't have to go through and clean up all the insulation from the carpet here. All right, next up is to go up into the attic. But first, I'm going to take all my junction boxes. And I'm going to get all of the connectors installed. I'm going to take these. I'm going to take all these and put them all in here so I don't have to carry around this jug up in the attic. Also at this step, I like to go through and make sure all of the color temperature, these are all field adjustable, I like to make sure the color temperatures are all set the same. I'm going to set all of mine to 3000 K right here. That's what they're preset to, but I always like to flip it out and back in just to make sure it's actually seated in there. And stapler. Also, I'm taking my sheathing strippers, just make it a little bit easier. All right, let's take a trip to the attic. There we are. All right, we're up in the attic space. We put those wafers in first, so it does mean we're going to have to do a little bit of searching and finding to get to the wafers. But I'm going to get all the wire installed, staple, first, and then I'm going to go around and install the junction boxes. All right, I know that the wall, there's the wall, the end wall of that room there. So I know that the first wafer should be only 28 inches away that way. And I felt, yep, there it is. There's our first one. So we're gonna make that one our first light location, or the end, and then we're gonna go jump around the circle and then bring the switch leg to the fan box, which you can see right here. All right, this one here is a good example to show how to wire up these boxes here. These are pretty straightforward. I mean, these are not rocket surgery, but basic stuff. We've got two wires here. These come with these push-in style connectors, which I'm going to get comments for. I know, you can let me know. But I use the provided push-in connectors because for this application, it's very low current draw, and I have not had any issues with these. These ones that come with the Rab brand wafers. Like I said, I've installed many of these. I've used the push-in connectors, and that's a personal preference thing. An actual lever nut Wago connection would be stronger. Even a wire nut would be probably physically stronger. But for this application, I deem it acceptable to use the push-ins. I don't use push-ins anywhere else other than for these wafer lights, though. I'm going to take my sheathing strippers, strip them both at the same length. Get rid of the ground paper. And then I like to take these and tape them together right here at the end so that they will push through the push-in connector and stay even. I also go ahead and strip the conductors at this stage too, just to save a little bit of time. With everything stripped, straighten it all out, send it through the push-in connector. There we are. And you can see the tape helped to keep it nice and straight. So now we take our grounds. I always go in the same order, ground, neutral, hot, just to avoid mistakes. If you make that a habit, then greatly reduces the chances of accidentally, absent-mindedly, or mistakenly wiring anything up backwards or wrong. But this is really simple. Just match the colors. All right, there's that. I take my conductors, tuck them up into the box here, just like that, and close it. And as an added measure, I put some tape around the door just to keep it from accidentally popping open. The aluminum housing sometimes can get warped or bent out of shape, and it doesn't latch perfectly, so that just helps. And the last step is to plug it in to your wafer light. Right there. I redistribute the insulation, they're IC rated. And now we take our wire and loop around to the 5 other lights. I'll let you know when I'm done with that. It's going to be a little bit too dark to record. All right, and here we are. I wired up all the other 5 and brought the switch leg to the fan box over there. It's all stapled. The way I do it is I staple every opportunity that I get just to ensure that it ends up within code. Of course, Romex, you have to staple about every 4.5 feet. If you staple it every chance you get, just ensures that that standard is met. And of course, using the staple gun makes it really easy to just pop in extra staples as needed. But this is the last junction box that we're going to wire up here. The light location is actually right below this this walking board here in the attic, but I can reach it pretty easily underneath, so this won't be an issue. This right here, and like I said, I don't love these just push-in connectors, but in my experience with these Rab cans, whatever brand push-ins they're using, they seem to be adequate. Close that up. My beautiful girlfriend picked out this nice pink tape for me to use. I think of her every time I use it. There we go. Let's get all my materials out of here, and I always get the insulation back off the walking boards, and then we're done in the attic. All right, all the wire is installed. We can see here where I poked down my new switch leg going over to this light here. Jumps from here, there, there, and there. We're going to tie in power here to that spare unused switch leg here, which is controlled by this switch here. We're going to tie in the power and then install our smart dimmer switch in our switch box. First step is to track down what circuit we are on. The circuit is good. It's not actually open ground. It's just my tester is getting a little bit loose. I need a new one of these. See? You can see my other tester. It's all good. See? This one. A little bit. All right, we're here at the panel. All right, looks like circuit number 24, which is labeled bonus room. Flip that one off. Looks like we're good to go. Oh no. Yeah, this fan needs to be remounted. Okay, take this down. This being out of the way will make wiring it in a little bit easier anyways. Yeah, it looks like whoever installed this just used a couple of drywall screws. That's not going to do. Well, it looks like those are wood screws, but still they weren't quite installed correctly. Much more secure. Alright, we've got the switch box taken apart. We moved this switch right here that controls the fan over to the middle position. We got rid of the other one, and this is where we will install our smart dimmer. This is a Lutron Caseta smart dimmer switch with a Pico remote here. This kind here is single pole only. Pre-twist my grounds. Snip the end of it so that the wire nut has a nice even end to bite onto. Make sure their smaller wire ends up just slightly in front of the larger wires so that it goes up into the tip of the wire nut, and it makes sure that it gets a good bite. Same thing if you're just doing one. I like to cut it just a little bit shorter than the other. Pre-twisting this one doesn't matter quite as much because it's not really biting into anything, but you just want to make sure the tip of the switch wire is ahead of the tip of the wire in the box. And then this one here, this is our power. Good. Now I'll take this, carefully and gently push it back, and make sure you're being mindful of where your ground wire is ending up inside the box there. Make sure it's well away from these screw terminals here to avoid a short. There we are. Line right there. And the last piece is our combination cover plate. 3 gang, 2 toggle, 1 Decora. Fits right over. Flip this over, make sure everything's going to line up correctly. You can see the short screws here are for Decora. It comes with 2 of the short ones, and it comes with 4 of these long ones here, which are for the toggle switches. Perfect. Get all the screws vertical. Awesome. Let's flip it on, test it out. All right, let's test it out. Nice. Awesome. Totally seamless, no drywall damage to repair after the fact. Good to go. And I paired up the remote, so they do a fade off when flipped off, and then snap on. Looks great. Let's get all this cleaned up. All right, that's going to do it. 6 new recessed lights on a smart dimmer switch. Looks really good. And the best part, no dust. You do it strategically, so there's no mess to clean up afterward. There's no evidence that anybody was here working other than new lights that weren't here before. I love these remotes. I think these are a great solution. I like this kind of stuff a lot better than I like smartphone controls. Unless you already have a full smart home, everything's already integrated. If you're just doing retrofit work in homes that don't have a full extensive smart home network, usually this is the type of stuff that I prefer to install because it's very convenient, very reliable. I've never had one of these remote batteries die. I have many of them in my home. They've been perfectly reliable. You don't have to repair them. They just work. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching. This was a fun video to make. People have been asking for these work, in the field videos. This customer was okay with me filming their job, so I was happy to film this one for you. Again, make sure you like and you subscribe and you comment what you thought. Thanks for watching. This has been Jacob Palmer from Palmer Electrical. Take care.